My English name is Michelle Soto. My paternal family is Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, Alberta. I'm Woodland Cree. And my mother is Dene Ta from Dene Ta First Nation, Alberta. So I'm Woodland Cree and Dene. But my Cree name is Mikwao Soao Keheoiskweo, meaning Red Yellow Eagle Woman. I got it when I was 18. And when you go to ceremony, you have to bring protocol and offering. And I guess 18 is of the age, but you can get it at any age. I just went to ceremony one day and asked for a name, and that was the name they gave me. And it's supposed to mean I come from the Thunderbird beings. I grew up predominantly on reserve, and it was a very simplified way of living. It was a time of, they would say poverty, but I say I was really rich, land-based. I grew up hauling water, living on the land. I ate a lot of wild meat, hunted, fished, trapped. It was a very rich life, very active, really clean. And I found it was the most wonderful time of my life. But when I got older, I didn't realize, like I said, I thought I was rich, but we were poor in some levels. I live in Red Deer, and Red Deer hasn't been very nice to me since I moved here. It's very traumatizing. Beginning of the pandemic, people are very judgmental, and it seems like the harder I worked, the more I was still judged. It was like this vast degree of emptiness, and the further I tried to obtain it, it just seemed like unattainable, unachievable. So that really created a lot of anger and animosity. I really don't like the city life, but I love the everything is accessible. I don't like how destructive it is, and how people are so materialistic and labeling, and there's hierarchy and class systems. I don't really find that comfortable, given the fact that I'm a minority. So that's one thing I don't like about the city life. In my nation, when I was younger, before my Gokam passed away, even when she was younger, she'd tell me stories that she wanted to go to university, she wanted to get an education, but she only had grade 6 because they told her if you leave, you lose everything. I live here because I want to go to school, and my dream was to go to school and go back home up north. I can't imagine what it must be like someone to be displaced or adopted out of the system. And me, I'm fortunate enough to have those cultural connections in ceremony because I'm a legacy. But living in the city, it's really hard to see those pictures because it's tiresome being away from your homelands. It's like you're a robot and you're just this soldier that goes 24/7. When I was growing up, we didn't have highly educated indigenous women. And in my age bracket, in my generation, most of the people that I was raised with had perished, passed away, or in addiction or in horrific social conditions. And I'm doing really well considering where I come from. So it is a heavy burden, but sometimes you have to make those sacrifices because there's younger generations looking up to you. And for myself, being a young person, I never even thought I would even survive up to 18. So now I'm 42 and I'm educated, I'm a professional. It's almost like a blessing, but yes, it is heavy a burden, but that's part of my life that the Creator had set up for me. It's a journey that was just destined for me even before I was born. We're the younger generation, so we're the ones who are going to end up being the ones who carry that weight. And the thing that is that's the hardest is you feel like you're alone in the world because you don't fit in. You leave your home nation and you go to the city. And then people assume, oh, there's other natives, so you have these communities, you have this space. Well, I don't fit in with the communities that are here. So I have to build those relationships. And sometimes there's a lot of animosity, even in our Indigenous community. And we don't talk about it. There's a lot of lateral violence, there's a lot of expectations, and it's almost, we have to really be governed with very little nourishment. And it's very tiresome because we're supposed to be professional and friendly, and it's almost like you have to constantly perform and you have to constantly be on like professional and always interact. At the same time, when you're around in non-Indigenous, they assume that we get everything for free, that we're rich, that we have all this stuff. You guys have everything. And then I try to tell them and I educate them, reserves were designed to be prisons. To be at this level and education and to actually step into decolonization, to restore these cultural practices that were outlawed, and to actually stand with full-fledged confidence as an Indigenous person, that's like me actually giving hope to the younger generation, because I know there are people watching. And that actually in turn creates a sense of confidence, not just to Indigenous people, but for other nationalities, because they're like, if you can be that full-fledged in your own individuality and your cultural expression, then they're more liberated themselves. Because I don't believe it's just me that's gone through oppression. I've been seeing other walks of life in Red Deer and different minorities and different ethnic groups who have faced this. And the more that I learn about them, the more I'm promoting reconciliation, because I want to learn about different ways of life. I want to include that in them to learn about Indigenous people. If I walk in that ethical aspect, it's going to create more safety and shared spaces that I'm not the only one there.